Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers. It's time for the Lakers. Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers. It's time for the Lakers. Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers. It's time for the Lakers.
What is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Monday. And first and foremost, as always, just want to send out positive vibrations and blessings to anybody who could be listening. Now, with all that being said, we do know that the Los Angeles Lakers were at home downtown in the Crypto.com arena yesterday to take on none other than Dame Dollar and the Portland Trailblazers. And as we all know, they did not come away victorious. And I have a lot of takes from this game. And I know it's a lot of hot takes. And I know a lot of people want to just, first of all, blame Russell Westbrook. And then, I watched the game in its entirety yesterday because, I was watching my Tennessee Titans yesterday, who actually won my bread as usual. Well, I won't say as usual, but finally won me some bread. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So I watched the game and I was watching it the whole time. And then I saw at the end when they decided to bring back in Russell Westbrook, because as you all know, the Lakers start the game with Russell Westbrook. And for whatever reason, Darvin Ham wants to finish the game with Russell Westbrook. So basically, they started off the game. Before you know it, in the first quarter, I want to say they went down 10 or 12, of course. But then, of course, they battled themselves back into the game without Russell Westbrook. And I'm not trying to blame everything on Russell Westbrook, but I really do have to blame the end of the game on Russell Westbrook. And I'm going to tell you why. And it's not just me blowing smoke, because what I do is I actually give you a thorough analysis of what I saw. And you can go back, if you got League Pass or whatever you got, please go back and watch it. Because if I could, I'd put it right next to the screen right here and show you. But I've been warned not to do so. So let me continue on with what my breakdown. And like I said, you can go back and look at it. So if you look at it, with 5 minutes or so left in the game, the Lakers had a 98-90 lead. Well, basically it was 97-90 because LeBron had just finished the N1, Russ checked in, LeBron hit the free throw. But basically, without him, that play didn't have nothing to do with him. So I'm saying they had a 98-90 lead when Russ checked into the game, basically. So prior to that, I think Darvin Ham had came up with a good lineup. Troy Brown wasn't shooting particularly well, but he has more size and was being a pretty good wing defender and was pressuring the ball and was doing quite well, getting the ball out of some of the Portland Trailblazers players' hand. So you had a lineup of which to me was the most successful lineup, because it's what brought them back, it's what gave them a lead, and what made it look like they were going to coast comfortably through the rest of the game. And I kept thinking, is he going to put in Russ? Is he going to put in Russ? Lo and behold, I see Russ at the scores table. I'm like, please don't let it be a stoppage of play. Please let it just play on. Please, so he doesn't come back in. Because I'm not trying to blame Russ, but I'm telling you, Russell Westbrook, he's not made for the NBA anymore. I don't care what team. If he can drive and dish and do all that, that's fair and good, but he's lost his athleticism. I'm not just saying this because I don't want to make broad, sweeping generalities. So what I really want to do is break down the problem and what I saw in Russell Westbrook. So like I said, they had a good combination out on the court where they had AD in the 5, they had LeBron in the 4, right? Then they had, of course, Pat Bev in the backcourt, and then they had Lonnie Walker in the backcourt with Russell Westbrook. They had Lonnie Walker in the backcourt with Pat Bev, and then, of course, Troy Brown playing that 3 spot in the 3rd wing position. So the Lakers was doing pretty well doing that, because if you go back to that lineup, Lonnie Walker has actually been playing some pretty good defense. Troy Brown, he was playing good defense. Anthony Davis been playing spectacular defense. I want to say he had 4 or 5 blocks on yesterday. He's protecting the paint better than probably anybody in the NBA right now, making this case for defensive player of the year, playing quite well. But, they wanted to insert in Russell Westbrook. So before that, with that other lineup, you had people that was pressuring the ball, playing good defense. Then you had people cutting, making plays for each other. Like the play that got LeBron the and one, you had a cutting LeBron James where Lonnie Walker hit him for the and one on a nice cut to the hole. Because LeBron, whether y'all believe it or not, he can play without the basketball. Which Russ made a couple of good assists to LeBron when he was running. And LeBron might have made one to Russ, but at the end of the day, Russ could not shoot jump shots, period, point blank. And that is what's so detrimental. And I'm about to break it down, actually some of the plays and what really happened and caused it. Because with the Lakers having that 8-point lead, there's no way, with 5 minutes left that they should have succumbed to that, which I know 8-point lead isn't big in the NBA, but all you got to do is come up with a few stops and a couple of scores, and you got the game. But they simply could not do that. And if you look at it, And speaking of good defense, the Lakers have been playing good defense. Actually, through the first 3 games, they number 5 in defense. So top 5, and that's something that Darvin Ham said he was going to do, bring back the defense to the Lakers, because that's something they were terrible on that side of the floor last year. So even with not even the best personnel, he has got them playing pretty good defense. I mean, being number 5 in the NBA, I know it's only 3 games, but that's a pretty good sample size of where you play and where you rank defensively. I mean, they were holding Portland, which is a pretty high-powered offense, to under 100 damn near until the end of the game when they finally broke that mark. But, you know, through these first 3 games, they've been 5th in defense, but they've been dead last in offense. They've been dead last in field goal percentage, and they've been dead last in three-point percentage. And a lot of that has to do with none other than Russell Westbrook, who has been 4 of 26 in the last 2 games. 4 out of 26, which is tied for the worst ever by a Laker in 50 years. Do y'all want to know who he tied with for the worst shooting through 2 games in the last 50 years? Who did he tie with? None other than himself. Russell Westbrook, early in January, did the same thing, 4 for 26 through 2 games. I mean, basically you shooting what? 12%, man. I mean, that is terrible. And we'll get more into some statistics later, but I want to go back to what I was saying about the end of the game, and I'm sorry for kind of breaking away from that. So like I said, they had the good lineup in with Troy Brown, with Lonnie Walker, LeBron, AD, and Pat Bev doing their thing offensively and defensively, right? So throughout the course of the game, the Portland Trailblazers and Chauncey Billups, much credit to him, he was bringing different defensive philosophies throughout the game to make the Lakers have to think. He didn't just stick with one thing. So he started to go zone. When he went zone, whenever Russ was in the game, that was a problem because Russ can't shoot. So Ham countered him by bringing in Lonnie Walker and Troy Brown to kind of break up that zone, because, you know, even in that zone, you know, that's going to leave a player open. And if you got somebody on the outside, you got Lonnie Walker and Troy Brown, who are capable of hitting threes, even though right now they're shooting terribly. But even if they are open, they can still break down the defense and drive and dish and get to the paint, because they are capable of doing so. Now, when you bring Russ into the game, and I'm going to give you an example, because at first I was looking like, man, what is LeBron doing? Because he was getting to the paint easily. I'm like, why is he settling? Because it was like LeBron settled for a long 3 in 1 possession. I'm like, man, y'all ahead, keep doing what you're doing, bully and get down to the hole. So then, you know, I had it on record. I went back and I looked at a couple of those plays again, and lo and behold, what did I notice? On one of the plays, they went into that zone. The 2 top men was on LeBron. So the 2 top men in the zone, LeBron can't really do anything. He had no choice. He looked over and you can almost see it in his eyes. Like, damn it, I got to pass to Russell Westbrook on the right wing. Well, LeBron was on the right wing. I got to pass it to Russ on the left wing. And lo and behold, what happened? Westbrook missed a 3. Okay, so now what did Portland do? They said, you know what? With 2 minutes left in the game, you know what we're going to do? We're going to play man-to-man, and we're going to put Nurkic on Russ. Nurkic. So you put a center on Russ, and that's nothing new, because guess what? The Clippers did the same thing. I don't guess anybody noticed, but they put Zubac on Russ. And the reason why they do this is they could play man-to-man. If you got a center on Russ, they know, well, Russ, he's not really a jump shooter, so all he can really do is bully his way to the rim. He couldn't really bully his way to the rim, because how could you bully your way to the rim if it's a center? You can't bully through a center, and Russell isn't as quick as he used to be to even get by Nurkic, you know? So at the end of the day, they put Nurkic out on Russ, and Nurkic's not even really guarding Russ. He is just sitting at that free throw line, basically. So now they're packing the paint. So now there are no lanes for LBJ to cut to. There are no lanes for Lonnie Walker or Troy Brown to cut to. There are no openings in the lane. You can't dish it over to another big man if somebody come over to help from the weak side, because now you're playing basically 4-on-5. So basically, Nurkic is playing at the free throw line, daring Russell Westbrook to shoot. He cannot shoot it, so they basically playing 5-on-4. So he ignores Russ, sit at the free throw line. He acts as a third defender on AD and LeBron. So basically, you playing 3-on-2. You playing 3-on-2 instead of 2-on-2 when it comes to AD and LeBron, because now you got a whole extra defender that's on them who can really pretty much pack that paint and to come play help defense, because he's ignoring Russell Westbrook. And that's basically what happened. And Darvin Ham still didn't take him out the game with under 2 minutes left, right? So he like, well, maybe we can hold on. Maybe we can hold on, you know. So basically, they didn't. And what really happened at the very end of the game that was worse is Russell Westbrook came down and shot a 2-for-1 in the situation. And we're going to talk about that in a second because that's what the media was talking to LeBron James about the game, you know. And I'm going to say something about him and Ham's responses here in just a moment. But what I want to say is there was no way. I think it was 28, 29 seconds. Maybe it wasn't 30. It had to be like 27. I wish I would have looked. I apologize. But it was like maybe 27 to 28 seconds left in the game. So, of course, you can get the 2-for-1, right? If you take the shot, miss, and then you have an opportunity to get the ball back. First of all, you can't guarantee a 2-for-1 because what the other team go back down there and miss and get an offensive board. Your 2-for-1 is gone. That's for one. For two, you're not down. If you were down and you take the 2-for-1, I don't blame you. You're trying to get extra possessions in, you down, maybe you take the lead, they come back, boom, boom, you still get the last possession if you can get the defensive board, right? Well, Russ comes up here and he takes a shot, very ill-advised shot from the elbow that they gave him because, of course, he didn't do nothing but brick. And LeBron and AD face, they could say all you want to, but if you say it, I'm going to try to find it on Instagram because I saw the actual freeze take of it, and I can put it up here on the screen is they look like, what in the hell? Why did he just shoot that? Because if they would have got a quality possession out of that and scored, they could pretty much ice the game. Or at least at the very minimum, go to overtime because they were up by 1. So if you can get a good play going, and now you get a good play, you perhaps score, you go up by 3, right? So let's just say, worst case scenario, you didn't score and you ran the clock down. You would have ran the clock down and missed. Well, you might get the offensive rebound, and now you could just hit the free throws and win the game. But instead, you shoot. So let's just say, worst case scenario, like I was saying, the offensive rebound is not the worst case scenario. That's the best case scenario if you wind it down. But you wind the clock all the way down. You miss, they get the board and call a timeout. But then you're only leaving them with 5 or 6 seconds left. So now the pressure is on them. But instead, you miss. You give them the opportunity, boom, they go back down there easily and take the lead just like that because they had plenty of time and Dame Dollar stepped back and hit that shot. I will give it up for Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker played excellent defense. He closed back. That was just a shot that Dame Dollar is capable of hitting, and he hit it to perfection. You can't play defense probably any better than that. But one thing I would have liked to see is that of Pat Bev switching onto Dame Dollar for that possession because I know he's going to get up into his body, man, try to force him to put the ball on the floor and be a driver. Because Pat Bev, I don't know if he would have necessarily let him get that off. They probably would have came with a high screen to switch Pat Bev off of him and get Lonnie Walker back on him. But to his credit, Lonnie Walker did play decent defense, but Dame Dollar just played better offense and he hit the shot, right? So after he hit the shot, Portland has a breakdown in defense. Nurkic is out there on LeBron in the high perimeter, and LeBron did what Russ couldn't do. He went around Nurkic very easily, broke down the defense, gets a 2-hand slam, ties the game. But it was almost like in football where you're like, damn, did I give him too much time on the other end? Did I give him too much time? Because now, you know, it's still, 7 to 8 seconds left. Easy time for them to run the possession, which they did. And we all saw they chose to pick on LeBron on the defensive end. That probably wouldn't have happened years ago. But, you know, of course, LeBron still, I think, played good defense on Jeremy Grant. You played about as good as you could without fouling. He gave up the inside. I think LeBron rolled his hip the whole possession on purpose, getting ready to go up for one of his blocks. But I think he saw AD coming from the weak side and thought AD was going to come help. AD did help, but it was 1 second too late. And if you look at the replay, it was this close to AD from blocking it. It's a game of inches, just like football, and he wasn't able to block it. So then that leads to the possession with LeBron with 3 seconds left. I don't know. I think they could have maybe drew up a better play than that. Than LeBron taking a fadeaway with 3 seconds left. LeBron got Damian Lillard on him, a much smaller defender. I would have liked LeBron to press the issue and maybe try to get to the hole, or maybe even try to throw a lob up to Anthony Davis. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. The Lakers, missed the shot. They now 0-3. Portland 3-0. You got teams like Utah that's 3-0. These younger teams, they coming for you, and the Lakers is going to get everybody best shot every night. because they want to defeat LeBron James. Of course they do. They want to defeat the Lakers. They still a highly talked about team, and they probably like, well, we tired of people talking about them. Let's just beat the hell out of them so people quit talking about them. But we ain't gonna quit talking about them on this channel. Y'all know that. So at the end of the day, I still think the Lakers can turn it around, but they're gonna have to turn it around without Russell Westbrook. Because think about it, if Dennis Schroeder was in that game yesterday, the Lakers win easily. Because they would have had to respect it. They ain't no way in hell they had to put Nurkic on Schroeder. I promise you that. Because he's not going to be able to close out, and Schroeder going to take advantage of it because he can actually shoot the basketball. Not the best three-point shooter, but he's a good mid-range person, and he know how to break down the zone. That's for damn sure. So I don't know why Russ did that as a two for one. I don't know who gave him the green light for that, But at the end of the day, at the end of the game, when they was asking LeBron about it, and he's like, "Well, y'all trying to bait me in and make this about Russ." I really wish LeBron would just answer the question. It ain't making it about Russ. You just answering the question. What is the philosophy for a 2-for-1? You should have said, I think in that situation, you shouldn't shoot the ball yet. Let's set up a good play. Just tell the truth. Are y'all scared of Russ? I don't understand why is the whole organization bending over backwards for this dude. I know he's getting $45 million, but at the end of the day, I'm sorry. You're not playing good basketball. And I don't know if he'll get a shot on another team because, then the attitude he gets with the media after the game, which I understand he's frustrated, but you made some bonehead plays and you were not effective when you were in the game. You've been playing good defense. I can give him that because that's something I never thought I'd see. But he feel like, well, I got to give him something. And I feel sorry for Russ, to be honest, because he's from L.A. That's his hometown. He coming with LeBron James. You thinking they going to do this and do that. But it's just not a good fit. It's just not a good fit. We've been saying that, I don't know why Pelinka and Jenny Bustin pulled the trigger over the summer. They had plenty of opportunities. They could have got Rudy Gay and Bogdanovich from Utah. You see how they playing. They 3-0. You get rid of that salary of Russ, I don't give a damn. You didn't even necessarily have to give up both draft picks in that situation. Then you have some three-point shooters. Rudy Gay been playing lights out this later part in his career. Bogdanovich can hit threes. You understand me? You could have got another trade going on with Gordon Hayward, with Charlotte and Rozier. You didn't do that. You had plenty of opportunities. Because y'all want Kyrie or some big name. And man, I'm so sick of it. The Lakers won the championship. I don't care if you call it a bubble or whatever. They beat Dame Dollar. They beat Harden and Houston. They beat every team that stood in front of them and did what they had to do. I want to say they beat Denver too, if I'm not mistaken. So y'all know what to do with it. But anyway, LeBron, I'm not worried about his shooting right now. He's not shooting good. You can't say, oh, it's year 20. LeBron has always worked his way into a rhythm at the beginning part of the season. His shots start falling. Anthony Davis as well. One shot on AD. Nurkic wasn't even guarding AD. AD ran to the corner for the three. Nurkic stayed right there in the paint and gave it to him. And AD hit the side of the damn backboard. And that's just a tragedy. But anyway, LeBron James, of course, 31, 8, and 8. He was 12 for 22, shot 55%. And this is a point I want to make. All these starters, LeBron James shot 55%, 12 for 22. From three-point, he was only 2 for 9, 22%. Not as good. But AD was 22 and 10, 9 for 17, 53%. Lonnie Walker, 7 of 13, 54%. Even though he was 1 for 5 for 3, AD was 0 for 3 for 3. Then you got Pat Bev. He didn't shoot over 50%, but he only took 3 shots. Thank you, Pat Bev. You knew your role and you stuck to it, which was playing defense. You went out there jacking up a bunch of threes, and thus you was in the game. But then here we got Russell Westbrook, 4 out of 15 at 27%. This is unacceptable. Like I said, the Lakers was winning 98-90 when he checked back in with 5 minutes left, and then the whole game went to nowhere. So at the end of the day, the Lakers shot 45% of the game. 41 out of 92. The Blazers only shot 44%, 37 out of 84. Then the Lakers, of course, shot more 3-points than their opponents again. Why are you shooting more 3-pointers than your opponent who can shoot better than you? And I know because they're getting some open looks. I get that. 6 out of 33, 18%. 18% from 3-point. That is ridiculous. 10 for 27 for Portland. They shot 37%. The Lakers shot a better percentage of field goals, just not threes. They had more assists, 26-19 in assists. They were out-rebounded yet again. They turnovers, they forced the Blazers into 19 turnovers. They only had 13 themselves, and both of them resulted in 17 points apiece off turnovers. So I think the Lakers did everything they needed to do statistically, and, how they had to stay in the game and, play good defense throughout. And they the top 5 defense at this moment. So I think that's a bright spot for the Lakers, but it's not going to get any easier because they got a test at Denver. Then they got a test at Minnesota coming up, which I think are going to be a good game to see what Darvin Ham wants to do with Russ, because at the end of the day, I don't think he's necessary to even play in the lineup at this point. You got Pat Bev, you got some other ball handlers who can handle the rock. Once Dennis Schroeder comes back, then I think that's going to be excellent. Dennis Schroeder already has continuity with playing with LeBron James and AD, because they had a decent season the season before last. They had a pretty good season going on, but at the end of the day, man, it is what it is. He's hurt. I think it'll be good because Damian Jones, he played well too, but he couldn't play a lot of minutes because give Portland their credit. When Damian Jones was in the game, Nurkic just backed him down and scored on him easily 3 times in a row. And credit to Ham, he said, well, pull him out, even though he was playing decent on the defense, especially as far as help and get some good pick and roll action from LeBron James and get some easy dunks. He just didn't have the ability to guard Nurkic. So I think if you had a Thomas Bryant in there who is a little stronger, so to speak, and a little weighs more, I don't think he's going to get bullied by Nurkic. So the Lakers got a couple of pieces out due to injury. Hopefully they can get back. Troy Brown came back from injury. He was decent yesterday. Of course, not best from shooting, but he played good defense. So let's see what the Lakers do. I don't think they play again until Wednesday night. So they got a couple of days off to watch this film and let all this stuff digest. And hell, maybe the chance to get rid of Russell Westbrook, who knows? But at the end of the day, man, it's been your boy, Be New. I just want to say, man, appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell. And as always, man, right on to the real, and much love to these haters. I'm out.